What I'm up to now, basically have finished preparation of the floor. I'm now just sort of ready to do some seam sealing, which I've not done before. So I'm putting some masking tape on just so I can spread it out in the seams and at least keep it looking relatively okay. I've still got a bit more masking to do. But then once I have finished the seam sealing, the base of it's ready for the wrap to seal. But I'll probably leave it at that once I've done the underneath, and then roll it over and start doing the body work on the top. So that's my plan at the moment for tonight. We'll see how we go. Okay, so I'm finding that if I'm careful, like this one here I spread out with my finger, so I needed the tape for that, but on good long runs like this, I think it's good enough, to be honest, that it's actually in the slot. I don't think I'll spread it out any more than that. It's okay. So I'll just keep going and keep you updated. Putting it on an angle so you get it in under the finger as well. Not quite business. What I've seen in other people who've done a similar thing, and they also pull the tape off the eye. So this one here, you pull the tape off and do a bit of comparison between this one that I've spread out with my finger and those ones that I haven't. So we'll keep that going. Certainly happens. Seems alright. What I'm using here is Sikaflex 527. And about 10 languages on it. So this Superflex, not the Samsung, but the normal Superflex which I use, no matter what I did to try and seal it off, and I hadn't finished the tube. Next time I came back to it, it was so choked up that I couldn't use the remainder of the tube. So I had a bit of a thought the other day about what might work. Is basically you just want to put the oxygen out of it. Stop it setting. So I'm going to try something drastic this time. If I've got some left in the tube, I'm going to seal it off, but put it in a bucket of water. Keep this end under the water to just see if it keeps the oxygen out. Now it might be a total fail. I don't know. Somebody else may have tried it, but I'm going to give that a crack because it's not cheap. This Superflex, and certainly don't want to waste them. So we'll see how we go with this tube if I don't use it all. We'll seal it up and dump it in a bucket of water so we can back next time and see what happens. You never know. At worst, if it's a fail, I'm going to be no worse off anyway. It all dries out. If I'm careful to wrap the line on it as well, which is how it is. Okay. It's worth rolling around because now I've got it the angle I need it. Out of Superflex here. I'll lift you up with this one. I haven't had to dip my finger in acetone yet, but it's getting close. These gloves are just about choked. That looks pretty good, actually. Pretty happy with that. But I'll have to open another tube just shortly. What I didn't read is how long this stuff takes to go off, but that's got plenty on there and plenty in the gaps. So the main door is this one along here. Then I'll open a new tube. Certainly cleaning up all the imperfections on the wall. That's that tube done. My yellow handle is just about black now. We won't be able to test something over here. Fuel tank goes up in here. You're not going to see in yet, just really, but it's certainly good to know that it's sealed, and if you do actually look up in there, it won't look too bad. So what I'm going to do now is just take the glove off with a new set, but I'm going to pull this tape off while it's still wet. Just in case you've never seen on TikTok on how to put these gloves on, you put your thumb up in there first, and then you just pull your fingers around and straight in. Apparently this is how surgeons do it. And given I'm today's moke surgeon, I want to look the part, operate on my moke. So the thumb as far up in there as you can, then you just pull it around, slide your fingers in like that. My hands are a bit sweaty after last time, but there we go. Around here. You keep an eye on me. I can do it right. Like that. Just smooth that one out so the tapers. Well, dead right, take the tape off before it dries, and it actually shapes it really well. I'll give you a close look once we've worth the effort. On the ones that have smeared out, tape is certainly worth the effort. But just be careful you don't need to. usually really before you put it on fire, I think that's a swing this one out. Another swing without the high you just take those ones the rest of it with free hand. Smooth there. It out or not, but anyway, it's all going to be covered up. Deadly. I'm still undecided. I really would have been sort of trying to do it. Spray it white underneath and then paint the finishing colour over top of it. So I want underneath to be the same colour as the top of the You can get tintable raptor liner, but I'm undecided which way to go, so still doing my research on the best way to handle that. I'm heading off to the paint shop later this week just to have a chat to them and they sell everything. I've priced it all out. Everything from the raptor liner, 4 litres is probably the only way to do it, because the last thing I want to do is run out, but I think 4 litres is going to be absolute overkill for this. But I hate when I get 2 litres and find out everything enough. So the 4 litres of raptor liner, which is done, about $380 something and 3 litres, 2-coat primer, etching primer, which I need to do the inside with before I do the filler primer. So the etching primer and then the filler primer. And with all of that, it's up to about $700 bucks. And then with the top coat, which is going to be about $300. So all up, $1,000 to paint it. That doesn't include the body filler. So good in it, but I think if it's done right, it'll certainly have the ability to equal to that's what started looking for the condition of this. Now I'm really pleased with the end result. And cost-wise, I've kept track of everything at the end of the build. I'll put all that info up there for anyone. If you haven't really worked out the comment there, then you can get or figure that out at some point. At the moment I'm just uploading videos of what I've done. Paid $8,000 for the motor. And then new floors and everything else. I think I'll get it back on the road. It's pretty good. 20 all up, so 12,000 on top of my 8 perfect size. And I'm on track to do that at the moment. One of the big unknowns is the engine, which I did a completion test on it the other day for the first time when I got it at 50 years. And they were excellent. It's much surprise to me. So my plan is I allowed 4,000 to do it up, and the management, so I was going to do it up myself. So I allowed 4,000 to part, and the things that go wrong when you're not looking at. So at this point I've saved that money. So the plan is to bench test it, start it up over there, and just see what it sounds like, what it looks like. Compression wise it should be fine. Combustion wise, what I don't know is the bottom end of the so hopefully instead of something in the engine if that's the case, then we'll be on the road for around that 20,000. More I've seen retail on these are pretty good things as well, so I'm going to take a lot of time on the top end to get it looking perfect, get the panels flat, make sure it fits really well. That's my plan. You can paint over this super flex sort of oil that sort of a little bit too to do it on the outside anyway, under the inside. Around this side. I'm going to try and take all this tape off without gloves on, but that would have been a huge mistake. Just have a look at that. What I have done is drop that finished vaseline up in the left because I just want to see the morning. I probably won't open it on tonight. I think it's more tonight, but maybe not. So I'll be able to see whether that is successful or not. Time will tell. Alright, let's go. Right, so I've done around there, along the bottom there. That was mainly hiding a weld. I've still got to do a little bit in the corner, a bit more to do in there. This is the one that where the roof floor joins the side panels, and it's plug weld all the way along there. So I've spread that out and got tape on there, which looks really good. And you can see these ones here, I didn't need any tape at all. Bit of tape here. You can see the edge it's got on there, so it's really good when you spread it out with the tape on. It's a nice clean line. A little bit to do here, I had tape running down there. In general, it's okay. Same on this side. Hiding a multitude of sins with my weld there and down here. A little bit more to do here, but these touch-ups I obviously have to do up in this guard yet. But and again I had a weld down here that didn't look really crash up. But yeah, so what do you think? Hopefully you think okay. I think it's okay. So I've got to tape up this, bit to do here. Not a great deal. I've got to do the floor all the way along under there. I'll show you that. And I have to do the floor inside where the floor joins inside here. Up the top along there. But it's pretty easy to get at on this rotisserie, so certainly makes my life easy. But we're going to do all the way along here. And I want that to be really, really good, so I'll spend a bit of time doing the front. I want to tape it up, spread it out, so when you're looking in there you can see that wall down there looks bloody shocking. You see what I mean? I've got good penetration through there with the stuff, the same up the top, along there, and it's just going to hide everything, the poor wells, and seal them up for good, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that's probably the end of this video. Thanks for watching. And hopefully the comments aren't too bad.